Marhaba, and hello once again to our friends around the world, co-believers with Muhammad and I in the cause of Palestinian freedom, justice, and equality in their own land. Today is Saturday, February 8th, 2025. I'm American historian Dr. Jack Dempsey, and with me, as always, is Muhammad Jihad Ismael, Palestinian historian from Gaza, specifically in Deir al-Balah. And we are talking, we're going to try to create two programs about this book by Muhammad called Tomorrow Will Answer: Horror and Hope in Palestine. It is beginning to make the rounds at publishers and in different internet forums, and is being quite well received for as an original, unique, and penetrating analysis of the Palestinian situation. We see many programs online and everywhere about that subject, but we so rarely, if ever, see, well, an actual Palestinian and an educated Palestinian historian speaking about their point of view. So, Mohammed, I want to welcome you. We have been trying for weeks to get a good enough internet signal to do this program, and it looks like we have a good enough signal finally today. So, welcome, Mohammed. Anything you'd like to say right off from the beginning?
Thank you, brother, for this opportunity. I am happy today to talk about the book. I hope internet will be helpful until the end. We have so many things, of course, to talk about today.
Yes, indeed. Where should we start, Mohammed? The book gives such a detailed picture of all sides in the conflict: the Palestinian side, the Israeli side, the American side. It is complex, but almost simple in some of its central thoughts. What to you is the most important thing that you have been able to articulate about the book and about the situation?
For me, I wanted through this book to convey the real image of our situation here in Gaza. Unfortunately, most of the reports about Gaza are telling some sort of propaganda. They doesn't convey the real image. They doesn't look to Gaza in a realistic way. Unfortunately, if you look to Al Jazeera, to the other international media, all of them are conveying a polluted news about Gaza. They doesn't convey the real image. So I used through this book to raise my voice, to present my narrative, which I believe it is a unique narrative. Yeah. So this was my motivation, my big motivation to write this book and to present it to the readers.
Yes, and the book goes into the myths and the mistakes and the false information that all sides have created. Some of it about Hamas as great heroes, when you feel that they are actually fools and terrorists and criminals; about Israel as if Israel is under threat from Hamas. That is absurd. Hamas is not a threat to the existence of Israel. And also that, well, there's supposedly a ceasefire going on. Is the ceasefire continuing in your area, Mohammed? There is also a civil war among Palestinians. Can you talk a little about that, the realities on the ground around you right now?
Yeah, uh, I watch through media that thousands of people around the world are making marches to support the Palestinians, to express solidarity with the Palestinian people in Gaza. Unfortunately, they are looking to the Palestinians as angels. They believe that Palestinians are angels or some minor gods. They doesn't commit mistakes. They are ideal people. They are perfect people. And always I hear all the blame and the criticism against Israel. Only Israel is the sinner, but Palestinians are angels. It's a very, very bad stereotype, to be frank with you. And this very, very bad image, which is being portrayed for the Palestinians, or this bad stereotyping, I think it is harmful for us as a Palestinians. When the Palestinian look to the mirror of the universal media and sees himself as angel, as God, as a perfect creature, this will be very, very bad for the Palestinian himself. No one is informing him. You have committed mistakes and you have to correct yourself. Yeah. So this bad image for the Palestinian, which is being portrayed in the West, this very harmful stereotyping, I think it is very, very bad for the Palestinians themselves. It doesn't help us as Palestinians. It doesn't help us at all. It doesn't help us to narrate always that only Israelis are the sinners. You are victims. You are poor people. We have only to attack the Israelis. This is not good for the Palestinians. It's very, very bad. A kind of support for the Palestinians. Yeah. By this way, Palestinians will not understand that they are committing any sort of mistakes. So they will not have any learned lessons. They will not have any chance to, they will not have any motive to correct their mistakes and correct their situation.
Well, Muhammad, let's start right from there then. In the beginning of your book, you describe Hamas, the reasons, so-called, for their attack of October 7th. What to you is not true about that? The Electronic Intifada and other so-called Palestinian sources paint the Hamas fighters as heroes. And there is no doubt that they have great courage for young men to go out and to fight with tanks, with against well-supported Israeli infantry and so forth. But what to you is wrong with what Hamas did on October 7th?
Yeah. First of all, to talk about some polluted sources of news, as the Intifada. Sorry, what is the name? Electronic Intifada. Yeah. And the other polluted media. Unfortunately, they are harming the Palestinian existence. They are harming the Palestinian cause. They are helping Mr. Trump and Netanyahu in their plan to implement the deal of the century, Trump's plan of peace. Unfortunately, they are helping the other camp.
Okay, how are they doing that, Muhammad? You have said in the beginning of the book that the Hamas attack of October 7th was a very foolish and evil mistake that Hamas made. Can you explain that? Why is it an evil thing and a big mistake?
Yeah. First of all, we talked about media. Just please let me clarify a very, very brief idea. After that, I will talk about Hamas as an organization.
Okay.
I think Qatar is paying billions of dollars in order to make a very, very polluted propaganda. They are trying to convince the entire world that Gaza Strip has a very huge army and we have so powerful fidayeen or fighters are defeating the Israeli army inside Gaza. Yeah, Qatar is doing that through the different sorts of media, websites, TV channels, magazines, newspapers, etc., in order to help Israel and to help the colonialism. They want to help them in order to implement the vision of Netanyahu and the vision of Trump, which is a Palestinian state on only 12% of the original area of the historical Palestine.
Okay,
Yeah. So this is, yeah.
Many people in the media are saying this is a terrible defeat for Israel, that Israel has failed to destroy Hamas. They have failed to end the Palestinian resistance. But you feel, as you say in your book, that Hamas is losing, that Hamas is almost defeated, that they cannot continue very much longer. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. I believe that what we are witnessing now is an open end for the Gaza war. It is not a logic. It is not a logical end. I think Israel. I think Israel has the ability to exterminate Hamas totally, to eliminate Hamas and finish Hamas forever. I think they have the ability to do that. But we have not to forget that they have hostages inside Gaza. They have dozens of hostages. Of course, they cannot go to the end and finish all the existence of Hamas and to forget their hostages. I think they need such ceasefires in order to get back their hostages. But after that, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe Israel will continue the fight, will continue the war until the complete defeat of Hamas. So I think right now we have an open end for the war. We have to wait. We have to wait to see what will happen after Israel releases the last one of its hostages in Gaza. I think
yes.
we have, yeah, I think we are going to watch very dramatic situation after Israel releases all the Israeli hostages.
After Hamas releases the hostages. And that is something that worries me and some other people, that when the last Israeli prisoner is released by Hamas, that then Israel will attack with even more force than ever to try to destroy Hamas and finish them completely. Do you agree with that, that it's going to get much worse when the last Israeli hostages are released?
Yes, yes, of course. Hamas theoretically and practically, Israel is capable to do that after they get back their hostages from Gaza. I think, of course, Israel is capable to do that. Yeah, but also I have to refer to something important. Also, maybe Israel, in the end, maybe Israel will choose to keep Hamas in Gaza as a ruling power. I mentioned that in my book.
Yes.
Because Benjamin Netanyahu was helping Hamas, was funding Hamas with a monthly budget of millions of dollars. Benjamin Netanyahu used in the previous years to help Hamas and to support Hamas. And whenever Hamas was falling, he was running from Tel Aviv to give Hamas some dose of oxygen.
And they do that. They do that to keep Palestinians divided, between Hamas in
Exactly.
Gaza and the Palestinian
Exactly.
Authority in the West Bank. If the Palestinians are divided, they cannot make a state. And that is the
Yeah.
great goal of Netanyahu. They want to
Yeah.
forget about any hope of a Palestinian state, right? Now,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you have said in the book that Hamas and their attack of October 7th was funded by, trained for by Iran, that Hamas is a proxy for Iran. Can you talk about why Iran would want to do that?
Yeah. Before answering this question, just very little clarification.
Sure.
My message for those idiots who are claiming that Hamas has won this war and Israel was defeated. Of course, right now this war is not over. Of course, we have a coming fight. Of course, Israel is capable to finish Hamas forever as a military power in Gaza. Of course, Israel is capable. If Israel didn't do that, the reason will not be the weakness of Israel or the disability of the Israeli army. No, the reason will be the mentality of Netanyahu, who might think again that why should I expel Hamas from Gaza? No, I have to keep Hamas in control in order to make the Palestinian division and Palestinian separation sustainable for a coming years and decades. So whenever Palestinians are divided, are separated in two governments, one in Gaza Strip, another one in the West Bank, of course, they will not demand a unified state. They will not demand their independent state. So if Netanyahu in the end has decided to keep Hamas in power, this doesn't mean that he is weak, he is loser, he's not able to defeat Hamas, you know, but it will be a political decision from this wolf, Benjamin Netanyahu.
And we are,
Answering,
go ahead.
yeah, answering your question about the Iranian role in this war. I were a witness on the preparation for this war. The previous years, prior to October 7th attack, we in Gaza here, we in Gaza Strip, we have witnessed so many scenes for Hamas preparation for this battle or for this operation,
Yeah.
transport operation inside Israel. We have witnessed so many things. Thousands of those fighters who infiltrated Israel, thousands of them used to travel to Iran and to Iraq and to Syria and to Hezbollah in Lebanon. They used to travel there. They used to take so many training inside Iran or inside the other countries of the so-called Iran axis.
Yes. Now you have said that it's a mistake to believe Iran when you for those reasons many people believe that Iran wants to support and to liberate the Palestinian people. But you say in the book, and you give very good detailed reasons, that Iran is not a friend of the Palestinians. Why are they not? What has Iran done that proves that is not true?
Yeah, Iran historically was an enemy for the Palestinians. if you want to look to the history in the previous decades, we have thousands of Palestinians were killed by Iran, whether in Iraq after the topple of Saddam regime, after the American invasion of
Yes,
Baghdad.
yes,
Thousands of Palestinians were killed inside Iraq by the Shiite militias,
Shiite.
which is supported and backed by Iran. Also, if you wanted to go back more and more back to the 70s, to the 80s of the last century, we have other thousands of Palestinians were killed by Amal movement in Lebanon, and it is a pro Iran. It is a pro Iran movement in Lebanon,
And
even in Syria.
the most direct reason you mention in the book, and you tell us very carefully, is that many years ago, Iran wanted Yasser Arafat and the PLO to be their ally to make trouble for Israel so Iran could build their economy and not be attacked by Israel. Yasser Arafat said no. They turned instead for support to Saddam Hussein in Iraq. And then when Hussein fell, the Iranians, different proxy forces, came to punish the Palestinian people for not doing what they said, right? And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why they were killing thousands of Palestinians to punish them for not being their proxy.
Yes, yes, yes. Thousands of Palestinians were killed in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, and hundreds of Palestinians, of girls and women, were raped by the
Rape,
Iranians or
rape.
their proxies. You know,
Yes,
a lot of Palestinians, and I used some years ago to document some testimonies for Palestinians who used to tell me about their suffering in the Iraqi jails and the torture they got by the Iranian intelligence inside Iraq,
yes.
not inside Iran. Yeah. So we have very sad story with Iran, and always Iran was repressive against the Palestinians. This is a historical fact.
Okay. Let me ask you. Uh, in the book, you describe the people who asked you in the book. The book is a transcription, by the way, of many interviews that you have done in Arabic media about the Palestinian situation. Tomorrow we'll answer Horror and Hope in Palestine. And you describe the Hamas fighters and the Israeli fighters. What are your views about how each side has fought the war that we don't know? What is the most important thing you want people to know about each side in the war?
Yeah. The fighters of Hamas, I think they fallen victims for their crazy leadership. They were killed in thousands, whether inside Israel or here inside Gaza. Most of Hamas military personnel were eliminated. Yeah, I think they were killed with no achievement. They were pretending in the previous years that we are going to liberate Al-Aqsa Mosque and to liberate the entire historical Palestine. Now, most of the military personnel of Hamas is eliminated. I am asking Hamas now, what is the price? What is the result of that? What have you achieved? Now you are releasing the Israeli hostages with nothing. with some Palestinian prisoners are being released from the Israeli jails.
Yes.
Of course, I am sure after some months they will be arrested again, and they will return to the Israeli jails. So I don't know what is the benefit of that. Unfortunately, we didn't harvest anything other than destruction and mass murder and genocide for dozens of thousands of Palestinians. Yeah, so I am so sad for those who join Hamas and work with the military of Hamas. Israeli army in this war, of course, they are savage soldiers. They are fighting in the name of Torah. They are implementing the recipes of genocide in the book of Joshua, killing the Palestinians. For this reason, I think the fuel which let those fighters move is not the military motive or the political motive. I think it is the religious motive, and especially we have very extended heritage of killing and genocide inside Old Testament, and especially the book of Joshua. Yeah.
Okay.
But to be frank, I were shocked. I were surprised by the bravery of some fighters in the Israeli army. They used to fight in a very strict way. They used to fight in a fierce way, and this is violates the propaganda of Hamas and electronic intifada, which say that those soldiers are wearing diapers inside their tanks.
Okay, let me ask you about one of the most important aspects of your book, Muhammad. There's a writer, an Israeli writer named Peter Beinart, Beinart. He has just published a book called Being Jewish After the Destruction of Gaza. He is on all the talk shows. They cannot find Palestinians, I suppose, to talk with. They must ask an Israeli about the Palestinian situation. But Mr. Beinart argues that the way to peace is through Jewish integrity. In other words, he argues that Israel must interrogate themselves to discover where the apartheid and their racism and this war have gone wrong. And that the Palestinians also must ask, like, what result, as you just said, what result are we getting for making this war? We have no result except everyone is dying. Gaza is destroyed. The end of the future for Gaza and perhaps Palestine. Do you agree with Mr. Beinart? And you say in the book that the Palestinians must struggle for freedom in a non-violent way. Can you explain a little bit what you mean by that and why you think it will work?
I think this Jewish author is trying to talk about the struggle. He is trying to solve the Palestinian-Israeli struggle in a poetic way. I think it is a poetic way, not a practical way. For me, I am insisting to say again that I cannot accept terrorism to be lawyer for my just cause. Palestinian cause is just, very just cause. I cannot accept Mr. Terrorism to be lawyer for this cause. Yeah. What Hamas did in October 7th wasn't a resistance, it was a terrorism. I feel ashamed when I see some pregnant women, some kids, some elders over 80 years were taken hostages. I am asking myself why? It is not acceptable in Islam at all. Why some kids were taken hostages? Is
So,
this
so,
good? Is
so,
this resistance? Is this resistance? Is this ethical?
obviously in the book, you argued that it is not. Now, some people will say to you, yes, but the Israeli army and the Israeli state are so violent toward the Palestinians. How could nonviolence work to liberate and get equality for Palestinian people? How could nonviolence work? You say we are dying by the thousands of people now, and that is, of course, true. Would not even more people die if they were nonviolent against Israel?
Yeah, before answering this question, let me continue my answer for the previous one.
Okay.
Uh, I am not defending Israel. Of course, Israel has committed very cruel massacres and genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. But I am asking, who has started this war? Who has started? It is Hamas. And who has kept this war sustainable and continuous for 15 months? It is Hamas who kept the hostages inside Gaza and refused to release those hostages. So the starter of this war was Hamas. The also the part who let this war to be continuous and let Palestinians to be slaughtered for 15 months. It is Hamas who kept the hostages inside Gaza. Yeah. So I think Hamas was responsible for this genocide. I know that Israel has an extended history in genocides and massacres. Yeah, I know that. As a historian, I know that. And I can count dozens of massacres for you were committed in the history of Israel. But I am talking about the recent war. Who has started it? Who has made this war continuous?
And okay, so you're saying that the Hamas attack and this war are not an effective way for the Palestinian people to struggle for their freedom. It is working the opposite direction. It is making things worse for the Palestinians in every way. So, what is your vision of what the Palestinians should be doing to achieve their freedom and equality, Muhammad?
I insist again that my only solution will be the non-violent action. I don't believe in the military resistance. I cannot believe that a cat can defeat a lion. It is logically unacceptable. So why you want your people to be eliminated, to be massacred? Why? For what?
So,
Just give me one reason.
okay, now give me an
Just
example.
promise me with one.
Give me an example,
Yeah.
Muhammad, of what the Palestinians should be doing specifically. What could they do? What could they do?
They have to live their life like all the people in the world. They have they have to live their life as through diplomacy, through politics, through all the nonviolent actions. if you follow the non-violent action and if you doesn't achieve anything, it will be a good zero for us. It will be a good zero because we will not pay souls, thousands of souls. You know, you will not bring for ourselves massacres and genocide. If if I am going to achieve big zero in the military action and another big zero in the non-violent action, for me as Muhammad, I prefer the non-violent action. It will bring me a better zero. It will bring me a better zero. I will not pay thousands of souls as a price. I will not bring mass destruction for Gaza. Now in this moment, more than 70% of Gaza buildings and houses are totally demolished.
Okay, but is nonviolence, Mohammed, are people like Netanyahu and Ben Gvir and Smotrich and all the other supporters of Israeli apartheid and for the expulsion of the Palestinian people, would nonviolent protests and actions mean anything to them? Do you think those men would listen, would consider another way if the Palestinians were nonviolent?
Yeah, I am repeating again. I prefer achieving nothing, but not to bring my people this destruction, this hell. You know, I prefer not to achieve anything, to live in peace, to be repressed by the Israelis, but not to bring this Hiroshima and Nagasaki for my people. You cannot see Gaza now. If you come here in Gaza and make a panoramic view to Gaza, you will get mad. You will get mad. There is nothing. It is a wasteland. So I think this military resistance is serving Ben Gvir and Smotrich and Netanyahu. It is serving them. It is
I
serving
see.
them and
Okay, now,
achieving their goals and achieving their goals.
yes. Now, Mohammed, in part two of this discussion, we will continue to interrogate you about these ideas. We must end for today. I just want to let our audience know that Mohammed and his family have decided to try to emigrate from Gaza so that their children have a real future. And there is a GoFundMe called Support Muhammad Ismael and His Children at GoFundMe. We are at 34% of our goal to raise the money for them to be able to afford to emigrate to a new and hopeful life. And we hope that in the comments here under the More section, you will look for that link and perhaps consider contributing at only $10. If we can get 2,500 people to continue to contribute $10, they will reach the goal and be able to reach a new life. Mohammed, thank you very much for your speaking today. We will continue very soon with part two. And I want to thank all the ladies and gentlemen around the world who are listening and hoping for much better for you and for Palestine. Thank you, and we'll see you
Thank you.
soon.